Hello, everyone. Today has been a really difficult day. I'm getting a call. It's been a really difficult time in general. Just a very disorienting time, as can often happen when you take a journey of self discovery. Things can get really weird, and that's what's going on for me right now. Um, it's like I had a friend describe it as opening up new windows into the psyche, um, or looking at the ground you're standing on and realizing that it's actually not ground. It's fucking a substance that when you notice it, it disappears. And then you have to find a new way to get around until a new ground appears beneath you. And in those periods between grounding, everything gets very difficult to track. And I think that's why it's very helpful to have a facilitator or a guide. I believe, no, I know for a fact the Buddha said that, it's nearly, I think maybe it's even impossible to really reach full liberation without a community of people with you. I don't think it's actually impossible, but yeah. So, because I have a friend who was visiting, and we were proposing times to hang out before he leaves, and he said, "Yeah, I think it'd be best to wait until I'm done with this program I'm in." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Why is that?" And he was like, "Yeah, um, when I'm in a program like this, and he's in something that's very emotionally and psychologically destabilizing. When I'm in a program like that, it's you know very emotional. It's very um, and it makes it difficult to want to do things, to plan things out. And it made me think, like, yeah, wow, I've been doing shit like that pretty much continuously for a long time now. Pretty much continuously. I haven't had a big break between things. Um, and it's taken a toll on me. But I had another friend, and we were talking, and he asked me, like, "Hey, what's your next step?" Because I was like, I want to move towards a more balanced lifestyle. Like, I want to have a basic life again. And when he asked me the question, "What's my next step?" I was like able to, shockingly to myself, basically one shot it and be like, "Yeah, well, the next step is, you have to start with where you're at. Survey the options in front of you, because you can have a big vision, a big goal in the world, but ultimately, um, you don't just teleport to the goal. You have to go from each moment. Where are you now? And take the next option, take the next step, and yeah." So there's a combination of analytical ability, to sense and survey, like, here's where I'm at. These are the options I have in front of me. And then there's an emotional component to it, where it's like you have to have the emotions moving in a way that allows you to actually get stuff done, to make those steps, to make the decisions. Because there's an infinite number of decisions you can make with the options you have in front of you. And the emotions are kind of like the fuel. They're kind of the driver that make you decide what you decide, that make you pick what you pick. And Yeah, so I think that's a big part of how things are going is my emotional context right now is just really fluid and going through a lot of changes, and it's like made it difficult to really be with each moment, to take the next most obvious step in each moment. But I got into the flow when I was talking to him about it. It's like, yeah, so the next thing I would do is I would do this business opportunity here. I'd make a proposal, and I see the problem with the old proposal I had, and so I'm going to do this and this and this to it, and then I want to move somewhere new, so I'm going to take this other business I have going and put a little more effort into it and get a couple $1,000s out of it and put that into like a new apartment. And then once I'm in a new apartment, I get a new simple little job and network with people. And then the networking turns into opportunities that I couldn't have even predicted. And as I escalate, as I move up Maslow's hierarchy, it's like it gets easier to have my other interests come online. And then it's like, yeah, from that point, then I do the next most obvious thing, and that maybe that turns into some schooling, some education program. Um, there's ultimately just an evolving ball of potential in front of me at each moment, and like there's a way that everything comes down to being with that ball of potential and helping it to unfold. And you know, there are many valid ways of working with it, and the most valid way depends on the context you're in. I think I think it's time for me to slow down a little bit, and I think it's critical also to recognize that there really is like something within me that's taking care of me, that's like taking me from where I was to where I am now, and that very same thing is making me see like, hey, maybe it's time to slow down, and it's looking out for me. So I don't really need to be worried about it. Like I'm gonna eventually iterate into a good way of being and a more harmonious way of being. If I had to guess, I would say that what's led to the imbalance of my life is I found, I was very regressed and very behind in my life, developmentally. And then when I was like 21, I discovered the power of reading books. And then I really started doubling down and cultivating my ability to think rationally and logically. And that was very powerful for me. But what I didn't have was the power, like an intuitive grasp of things, like an emotional grasp of things. I didn't understand that shit at all. The best I did was meditation, and the way I meditated was very, like, operationally, like, mechanistic. Like I was gonna meditate on my breath to build my focus up, and that's all I was thinking about. But what's happened now is it's like I've opened up a whole new domain of development, and it's like it wants to catch up because my cognitive development got up here and my emotional development got online. I was like, oh shit, we're really fucking far behind, and my cognition didn't really know how to function with the emotions getting in there. So, that's kind of where I've been. I think this could be completely wrong, and it definitely is wrong in some way. I mean, I wish I had a teacher or something to really help me figure this out. Maybe that would never happen. Maybe like that's just part of it, is just being in the question, living in the question. But what I guess is and my emotional development is like taking full precedent until it gets up to a point where it's on par, and then they can start working together. So multiple changes have been happening. It's like phase 1 for me was cognitive development. Phase 2 was like, oh shit, emotions. And then those start getting developed. And then phase 3 is like they're working together. They're working together. Yeah. Pretty regularly right now I'm destabilized, and yeah, just waiting it out. I'm getting sick of the wait though. I kind of want to simplify down and just live a basic little life for a while. Just enjoy my life for a while. And that's going to happen eventually. I trust that. But along the way, my nervous system is clamped down as like, we need to make this happen. Like, yeah. Anyways, yep, that's it.